This is all pretty weird, right? Yeah. But we're figuring it out. I hope you're doing okay. This is strange. You will sometimes hear my wife is giving a virtual piano lesson out in our living room. So if there's other piano and voice happening, that's what's going on. But I've got my little setup. We are going to do this, at least for now, in Logic. So I've got Logic's keyboard pulled up. I could click with my mouse, but I also have my MIDI keyboard hooked up. I'll probably do a video where you can actually see my hands, but that takes a little more setup that I'll have to figure out. So anyway, let's start. We're going to start. Today is just going to be a review of stuff we've already done in class. All of my classes play piano. We learn the note names. We learn some chord stuff. So I'm just going to review that. If you feel like, oh, I know everything we did in class and I'm comfortable with it. So this is note names, octaves, major, minor chords. If you feel comfortable with all of that, then skip this one. Or if you want to play as we go, feel free. Okay, so first, the way we orient ourselves to the keyboard is with the black keys. If it was all white keys, we wouldn't know what was going on. But because we have the black keys, we can figure out which note is which. So this keyboard tells us where C is, just like GarageBand does. And so there's a C, there's a C, there's a C, there's a C. If those are all C, the alphabet applies to the white keys especially. These are all Ds, C, D. And that makes this E, F, G, A, B, and back to C. We call this an octave because if you're playing in a major or minor scale, they are 8 notes apart, which is most music, like actually 95% of music. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So oct, just like octopus or octagon or whatever, of course, is 8. That's why it's called an octave. Okay, so that's our white key note names. And we also want to look at our black key note names. So as we've looked at in class, the sharps just are up from the white keys and the flats are down. So to go back to here, we've got C here. Just above it is C sharp. C, C sharp, same thing up here. C, C, C sharp, C, C sharp. Okay, and so on. If I want, let's see, I could play D sharp. There's my D sharp, great. But where it gets confusing is this is also E flat. So it depends on the context, and that's a whole music theory thing, as I've said in class, that we're not going to get into. But just know that the black keys have multiple names. Technically, some of the white keys do, but it really doesn't matter. That only happens in kind of very difficult classical music and musical theater stuff. So back to here. So if this is, I want to find an F sharp. So this is F. Right above that is F sharp. It is the first of the 3 black keys, so F sharp. There they all are. If I wanted to find B flat, there's my B. Right below it is B flat. And it's confusing. When I say below it, it's really to the left because that's how the pitch goes. Because this is lower than this. And this is higher than this. So we say below B, B, B flat, B. Again, here's a B flat, here's another one. It's a third of the 3 black keys. And so that's how that works. G sharp, A flat, same note, because G and A gets us there. So that's our note names. Oh my gosh, we got it. We're so good. Wow. Congrats. You know all the note names on the keyboard. Seriously, even just knowing that will help you out. Because if it's let's say I come up with something I really like. Great. I really like that. And then I walk away for a little while. I'm talking to my friend, whatever. And then, oh, let me play that thing I played again. If I don't know that I started on D, then I'm just going to be bumping around. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. That one actually sounds about the same. But no, I got to know that I started on D. And there's my idea again. That applies to anything, chords or anything you'd want to do. If you don't know your note names, you don't know what's going on. And knowing octaves too for bass lines, all sorts of stuff. Okay, so now chords. If we know our note names, now we can add chords. We're going to start just like we did in class with white key chords because you can just keep your hands in the same place. Now this is a place where if you're just doing this on the phone, chords get real tricky. And I usually use my middle 3 fingers actually. And let me switch back to here. And I just will do it like this, boop, 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 and so on. But if you've got some other option, then great. So the way we form a chord is we start with one note, and then we got to skip up. So this is what's called the root. This is the second. This is the third. This is the fourth. This is the fifth. So chords are made up of root, third, fifth. And it doesn't matter what chord I'm playing. Let's see, this is G minor, root, third, fifth. Here's F minor, root, third, fifth. Here is G or E major, root, third, fifth. Now, there's different types of thirds, and we'll get to that in a second. But that's how we build a chord. So, first easiest step is just to play around with forming white key chords. So, classic is Lean on Me. Lean on me. I gotta warm up. When you're not strong. What did I do? Oh, I played the wrong note down here. When you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. So, I'm playing a little bit of a bass line down here, but all I'm doing in my right hand is moving the same shape up. So that's a super simple. Now the song there's a little extra thing at the end where the whole song isn't like that, but that helps you learn a little bit about how chords move around. Okay, so the next step, and again we've done this in class, is to play what's called a chord progression. Now when you make progress, you move forward on something, so a chord progression is a series of chords moving around. So I'm going to play a chord progression that is going to move from C, this is C major, and then I'm going to go to G major, and then F major. Let's try that. So C, and what I'm doing here, I'm moving to what's called the 5. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is confusing because this is also the 5th, but it's 5. G major, and then I don't remember which order I played it in. Let's do it this order. So I'm going to start with C major down here. C, I'm going to move up to G, which is this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now up just 1 to A minor. So C, G, A minor, F major. Let's try it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I'm gonna add a bass. Yeah, So that's a little bit of a chord progression. And you'll notice what I did in the bass is I just played the lowest note. So I just played the root. We talked about root, third, fifth. In order to make this chord sound a little more full, without it, with it. Now this is especially tough on phones and iPads. You don't have much space. A lot of times you'll only get like, I don't even remember, but you only get maybe this much space. So playing a bass line. But that also means you could play this part and then you could add a bass over. So since I'm in Logic, I wasn't planning on doing this, but why not? I'm going to pull up a fake drummer. This one's called Rose. Hi, Rose. Thanks for playing drums for me. And let's slow it down. Oh, it switched automatically to a pretty good tempo. I'm going to slow it down a little more even. Great. And now have my keyboard back up. And let's just get it going. Rock out with Rose. 1, 2, start with C. 1, 2, 3, G. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Back to C. 1, 2, up to G. 2, up. Another one to A minor. Down to F. Another time, go. Up to G. A minor. F. Yeah, so we've got that going on. I'm actually going to record myself doing this. So let's try it one more time. Oops. Hold on, I gotta chop this down. Oh, it didn't get my first chord. It's okay. I'll just do it again. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Nailed it. Great. Okay, so now we've got our 4 chords in there. So if you actually want to get into recording as you're just doing this, you could. But part of it is I'm going to let that sit there so that I can add other textures, so to speak. So I'm just creating another track. We don't need to get into the whole producing thing. But what I'm going to do is, while I've got my chords over here, which I'm going to turn down, I can add other... Why is it? Why are those notes pressed down? Uh-oh. Keyboard. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to add other ideas on top. So this is what's called an arpeggio. So these are my 3 notes, right? We've already played those. But I can do what's called arpeggiate those notes. So instead of just playing them together, I can play it however I want, but I'm keeping my fingers in the same place, but I'm just separating where they play. And I could also play it up here. I could even use both hands to add more of the notes in the chord. Because these are all C major notes. Again, this is really tough if you're using a little something on a phone screen, but at least try this part. At least try arpeggiating. So I'm going to play the track again, and let's try arpeggiating. 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh, I messed up. That's okay. Try it another way. You don't have to copy what I did. I'm actually going to delete what I did. you could try this one. That could be kind of fun. Apparently recorded that, so that's gonna keep going. So the point being, you can play the same chords in a bunch of different ways. Whatever you wanted to do. And if I wanted to add bass to it, so I played it over here. Will it play on the keyboard? Oh yeah. If I do this one. Oh, I've never done this before. So if I play these same bass notes that are the root notes of the chord in a bass instrument, it's gonna sound pretty sweet. So I'll just do it like this. And of course this is Logic, so it's a little more fancy, but it will work in any DAW that you're working in. Digital audio workspace. Okay, I'm gonna grab something simple. All of these are like EDM craziness. Let's do punchy. No. Okay, if I turn it down, that'll be fine. All right, let's try it. 1, 2. You keep playing the chords, or you can switch to playing just the bass notes. Whatever works. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. C. Oh, I lost my keyboard. G. It's not showing up here anymore, but all right. So what if I do this? I'm gonna have this bass play, and if you have a way to do this where instead of watching this you play along with it, I'm just gonna let this loop for a second. I'm gonna make this bass sound a little less crazy. Really quick. No, let's just do it this way. Okay. So, if you want to join in, play along with it. Again, up 1 to A minor. F to back down to C. A minor. Down to F. Oh, sorry, that was confusing. C. G. A minor. And down 2 to F. Alright. Sweet. Okay. Let's stop there. I think this is getting long, so I'm going to stop there and do major and minor on another video. Yep. See you later.